Every day, a large portion of the population is at the mercy of a rising technology, yet few actually understand what it is. Artificial intelligence. You know, HAL 9000 and Marvin the Paranoid Android. Thanks to books and movies, each generation has formed its own fantasy of a world ruled, or at least served, by robots. We've been conditioned to expect flying cars that steer clear of traffic and robotic maids whipping up our weekday dinner. But if the age of AI is here, why don't our lives look more like the Jetsons? Well, for starters, that's a cartoon. And really, if you've ever browsed Netflix movie suggestions or told Alexa to order a pizza, you're probably interacting with artificial intelligence more than you realize. And that's kind of the point. AI is designed so you don't realize there's a computer calling the shots. But that also makes understanding what AI is and what it's not a little complicated. In basic terms, AI is a broad area of computer science that makes machines seem like they have human intelligence. So it's not only programming a computer to drive a car by obeying traffic signals, but it's when that program also learns to exhibit signs of human-like road rage. As intimidating as it may seem, this technology isn't new. Actually, for the past half a century, it's been an idea ahead of its time. The term artificial intelligence was first coined back in 1956 by Dartmouth professor John McCarthy. He called together a group of computer scientists and mathematicians to see if machines could learn like a young child does, using trial and error to develop formal reasoning. The project proposal says they'll figure out how to make machines use language, form abstractions and concepts, solve kinds of problems now reserved for humans, and improve themselves. That was more than 60 years ago. Since then, AI has remained for the most part in university classrooms and super-secret labs, but that's changing. Like all exponential curves, it's hard to tell when a line that's slowly ticking upwards is going to skyrocket. But during the past few years, a couple of factors have led to AI becoming the next big thing. First, huge amounts of data are being created every minute. In fact, 90% of the world's data has been generated in the past 2 years. And now, thanks to advances in processing speeds, computers can actually make sense of all this information more quickly. Because of this, tech giants and venture capitalists have bought into AI and are infusing the market with cash and new applications. Very soon, AI will become a little less artificial and a lot more intelligent. Now the question is, should you brace yourself for yet another Terminator movie live on your city streets? Not exactly. In fact, stop thinking of robots. When it comes to AI, a robot is nothing more than the shell concealing what's actually used to power the technology. That means AI can manifest itself in many different ways. Let's break down the options. First, you have your bots. They're text-based and incredibly powerful, but they have limitations. Ask a weather bot for the forecast, and it will tell you it's partly cloudy with a high of 57. But ask that same bot what time it is in Tokyo, and it'll get a little confused. That's because the bot's creator only programmed it to give you the weather by pulling from a specific data source. Natural language processing makes these bots a bit more sophisticated. When you ask Siri or Cortana where the closest gas station is, it's really just translating your voice into text, feeding it to a search engine, and reading the answer back in human syntax. So in other words, you don't have to speak in code. At the far end of the spectrum is machine learning, and honestly, it's one of the most exciting areas of AI. Like a human, a machine retains information and becomes smarter over time. But unlike a human, it's not susceptible to things like short-term memory loss, information overload, sleep deprivation, and distractions. But how do these machines actually learn? Well, while it may be easy for a human to know the difference between a cat and a dog, for a computer, not so much. You see, when you're only considering physical appearance, the difference between cats and dogs can be a little gray. You can say cats have pointed ears and dogs have floppy ears, but those rules aren't universal. Between tail length, fur texture, and color, there are a lot of options. And that means a lot of tedious rules someone would have to program manually to help a computer spot the difference. But remember, machine learning is about making machines learn like humans. And like any toddler, that means they have to learn by experience. With machine learning, programs analyze thousands of examples to build an algorithm. It then tweaks the algorithm based on if it achieves its goal. Over time, the program actually gets smarter. That's how machines like IBM's Watson can diagnose cancer, compose classical symphonies, or crush Ken Jennings at Jeopardy! Some programs even mimic the way the human brain is structured, complete with neural networks that help humans, and now machines, solve problems. Generations have long imagined the ramifications of AI, visualizing a society where machines seek revenge and wreak havoc on human society. However, the more logical and pressing question is, how will AI affect your job? Will it make your work obsolete? Just like the Industrial Revolution, it's not human versus machine, it's human and machine versus problem. The point is that artificial intelligence helps you accomplish more in less time, taking on the repetitive tasks of your job while you master the strategy and relationships. That way, humans can do what they do best: be human.
What is artificial intelligence? Hello, my name is Richard Kirshner, and today we're going to go over what is artificial intelligence. One example of today's artificial intelligence is a smart home. So welcome to my smart home. Smart homes are run by artificial intelligence. Let's have a look at some of the key features of a smart house. Home appliances are voice controlled. Sensors adjust lights and air coolers according to the climate. Security systems can detect movement outside and warn the residents. All the appliances are interconnected to each other and can detect vehicles in the driveway and let the owner know. Home appliances can be controlled remotely through the phone. Now, this is just one example in today's world. So what's in it for you today? Today, we're going to cover a brief history of artificial intelligence, what is artificial intelligence, types of artificial intelligence, applications of artificial intelligence, and just a quick glimpse of the future of artificial intelligence. Let us start with a brief history of artificial intelligence. Let's start with John McCarthy. He was the first one to coin the word artificial intelligence, and in 1956 had the first artificial intelligence conference. Let's jump forward to 1969 with Shaky. Shaky was the first general-purpose mobile robot built. And although by today's standard he was very simple, he did mark a milestone in that we were now processing data differently. He was now able to do things with a purpose versus just a list of instructions, albeit the list included things like turning on and off lights and pushing boxes around the room. We're going to move forward to 1997. In 1997, the supercomputer Deep Blue was designed, which defeated the world chess champion in a game. This is the first time when we're actually seeing the computer using logic to beat a human doing some kind of logical, in this case, a game. So it was a huge milestone by IBM to create this large computer that was able to do that in a timely fashion. Let's jump up to 2002 when we have our first commercially successful robotic vacuum cleaner. Nowadays you can go down to the Target and buy one, but back in 2002 that was the first model that was put out. And finally 2005 to 2018 today, in the last more than a decade, we have speech recognition, RPA, dancing robots, smart homes, and many more to come. What I want you to notice about this brief history of artificial intelligence is the compression of time. In 1956 it was just an idea, and more than 10 years later we have our Shaky, the first one who's able to flip light switches. And then we go all the way to 97 where we have Deep Blue, and there's a lot of little steps between 69 and 97, but it's actually able to take on a human in chess and beat them regularly. Now they did have a lot of ties, so don't think that it won every game. And then we go only 4 years later, we have our first commercially successful robotic vacuum cleaner. And as we go from 2005 to 2018, we go from simple speech recognition to very complicated, able to really register with your Google Voice and your Siri. We have our RPA, we have dancing robots, smart homes, and many more things that are just coming out almost monthly in the world of artificial intelligence. So what is artificial intelligence? AI is a form of computer science used to create intelligent machines that can recognize human speech, objects, can learn, plan, and solve problems like humans. And I'd like you to focus just on that last one. Can solve problems like humans. As we saw earlier, we compare the computer that can beat the chess champion. It's able to, the one before that, able to turn on and off lights in the house. So right now, our concept of artificial intelligence is based primarily on our understanding of how it interacts with humans and how we can compare it to humans. So speech recognition, that's a big one today. Object detection, solve problems and learn from the given data, and plan an approach for future tasks to be done. These are all very human things that we do to plan and solve for the future. Types of artificial intelligence. Hi, heard you wanted to know the types of AI. You can imagine our little robot taking us on a tour. The first type is purely reactive. The second type is limited memory. The third type, theory of mind, which is still in the process of being invented, and definitely the question of self-awareness being the fourth, which is still not invented yet, or is it? Let's look at these a little closer. Here we have our purely reactive. He does not have any past memory or data to work with. He takes actions, reacts based on what he sees. Okay, it's not that tough. Observes every move. You can see we have a nice game of chess going on here. And wins. Takes the best possible decision. Purely reactive machines specialize in one field of work only. In this case, we see a chess game where they figure out the best moves, calculating all the different moves. Maybe it's calculating the next one in a row in a linear regression model so you can figure out the best marketing. But they're very reactive. They don't have a lot of data. They just have what's in front of them to look at. Next, let's look at limited memory. Let's try to understand the limited memory setup. These machines use previous data and keep adding it to their memory. Suggest me a good restaurant. So maybe we're looking to go out for dinner tonight and we're not sure what we want to eat. I see you have been to KFC quite a lot in the past week. There is a KFC nearby. So it goes through the previous location data and where they ate prior and says, this is probably a good suggestion for you tonight. Thanks. It has enough memory or experience to make proper decisions, but the memory is very limited. This isn't trying to guess what a new location would be or anything like that. It just takes what it has in front of it and goes, okay, this is where you've been, this is what you liked, you gave it 2 thumbs up, 1 thumb down, whatever, and then it goes, from these suggestions, this is where I think you should go. Theory of mind. This kind of AI has the capacity to understand thoughts and emotions and interact socially. A machine based on this type is yet to be built. That human looks lonely. Hey human, you want to be my friend? Huh? Okay. Theory of mind is a thing of the future. Certainly we see a lot of the industry poking a little bit at this as it tries to guess how you feel about things. But most of that is still based on previous data. Yes, no, 2 thumbs up, 1 thumb down. Theory of mind would take it one step further in understanding the emotions behind it. And finally, as we get deep into the sci-fi futuristic, we have self-aware. Self-aware machines are future generation of machines. They will be super intelligent, sentient, and conscious. business, like the Terminator, the good guy in the thing, or Ultron, or Vision from Avengers. For right now, these are mostly movie characters or cartoon characters, but we certainly are getting closer to seeing them in the real world. Hopefully they'll be of the type of the good guys and not the bad guys we see also in the artificial intelligence sci-fi movies. Applications of artificial intelligence. Let's take a look at some of today's commercial and business uses for the AI. We have banking, fraud detection. From a large data consisting of fraudulent and non-fraudulent transactions, the AI learns to predict if a new transaction is fraud or not. Online customer support. Most of the customer support is now being automated by artificial intelligence. Cybersecurity. Using machine learning algorithms and a lot of sample data, AI can be used to detect anomalies, adapt, and respond to threats. Virtual assistants. Siri, Cortana, Alexa, and Google now use voice recognition to follow the user's commands. These are all wonderful examples of current AIs that are in the commercial and business world, and these ones in particular have matured over the last half a decade. For instance, very few large banks in today's world would not use banking for fraud detection or for deciding whether it's a good person to give a loan to or not based on their credit scores and where they're from and their income. Same thing with cybersecurity, detecting anomalies, or online customer support. Could you imagine in, say, HP, who has over 70,000 help pages across 17 different languages? Now they have to figure out how to do online customer support to cover new problems that come up and track them so they can build new pages. If they had one person doing that, that would take them a year just to do what they need to have posted yesterday. And of course, our virtual assistants, I don't know about you, but I love mine. Kind of like having a private secretary without having a private secretary. Future of artificial intelligence. If we see where it's at now commercially and business-wise, then where is it going? Of course, the imagination is a limit on this one, but you can already see the development in the world today for automated transportation. It'll become a common thing, maybe even early as 2020 when they have the final release from the leaders in the industry. Humans will be able to augment themselves with robots. Certainly the idea of having the robot bring me my coffee is lovely. Or when I'm doing reports or something else on the computer, it does part of that work for me so that I'm freed up to think about other things. There will be more numbers of smart cities as vehicles, phones, home appliances will be run by AI. Home robots will help elderly people with the day-to-day work. Japan already has a very in-depth program where they've begun to integrate robots helping elderly. Even some of the simple things like getting that box of cereal off the top shelf or monitoring if they fall and need to contact the doctor or an emergency to show up. Robots will take over hazardous jobs like bomb defusing, welding, etc. For the future of artificial intelligence, you can see here a number of robotic uses that are already in development. People are already working on these and trying to bring them to us in a commercial and business fashion. Your own imagination can take this to the next level, or a simple Google search will show you some of the stuff that's out there now in addition to these. I hope you enjoyed our brief glimpse at artificial intelligence and what it is today. I want to thank you for joining us. Feel free to leave a comment down below and we'll try to answer those comments and follow up with you.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simply Learn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.
AI has become part of our lives in many areas. If you think of cars and driver assistance systems, that's one area where many people are coming in contact with AI. AI is influencing you when you're visiting the internet and when you see things such as the hints that other people who were interested in this particular topic were also interested in this and that. It's AI and machine learning algorithms behind it, behind making these recommendations. We are seeing AI in home appliances, in intelligent light switches that can understand our language. And these are just a few examples of how AI is coming into our daily lives.
You are watching Cold Fusion TV.
Hi, welcome to another Cold Fusion video. Deep learning, a subset of AI, has been making a lot of waves recently. In previous videos, we've seen how deep neural nets are progressing rapidly within many fields. We've seen this technology diagnose medical conditions with more accuracy than trained experts.
AI is able to learn from numerous amounts of data. That's what humans can't do.
Now the accuracy of early detection of esophageal cancer has reached 90%.
Learn how to produce sound from scratch. Recreate the visual aspects of speech.
We apply the same input speech mapped to 4 different target videos. Note that all 4 are synthetic and have different lighting conditions.
The auto industry, to help families refinance their homes, to invest in things like high-tech manufacturing.
But what are some lesser known applications of deep neural nets that could make their way down to the average consumer? In this video, we'll count down 5 interesting uses of neural nets in the context of images and video. But first, a quick word from our sponsor. This video is brought to you by Audible. Audible has a massive range of audiobooks and is one of the best ways to binge content while you enjoy your summer activities or downtime. One book that I'm listening to at the moment is Superintelligence by Nick Bostrom. The book goes through the history of artificial intelligence and the paths that we might take to get to superintelligence. It's a good read and I recommend it. Audible is offering you guys a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to www.audible.com/coldfusion or text coldfusion to 500 500 and download a title for free. Number 5. Restore color to black and white photos and videos. Normally, when you see a black and white image of a time long past, it looks dull, distant, and unrelatable. If you wanted to colorize that image and make it come to life, it usually requires the effort of a keen artist who has a knowledgeable understanding of the cultural setting in order to choose the right colors. Here's an excerpt from Vox Media on how a colorization artist goes about their craft.
And styles of the time are faithfully represented.
A good colorizer has a good network of people to call on. We had one guy, he's like a specialist in ethnographic dress. He was showing me like museum grade samples and he lives and breathes this stuff. So like every single little detail, like the color of beads on like a Laplander necklace or something, it's really, this has got to be the exact thing. I think the longest I've spent on an image is nearly a month.
What if there was a way to do this instantly? Well, thanks to deep neural networks, this is now possible. Let There Be Color is a neural net system that automatically restores color to black and white photos. It can also do the same with video. It uses a convolutional neural network and can process images of any resolution, unlike previous approaches. The deep learning network actually learns patterns that occur naturally in photos. Things like the sky is usually blue and clouds are white and grey and grass is typically green, etc. But it did this itself from past experience without human intervention. Let There Be Color colorizes photos much better than the state of the art for 100-year-old images. Just take a look at some samples here. Number 4. Pixel enhancing, CSI style. You know that thing that they do in movies and TV crime shows such as CSI, where an investigator demands that a grainy image be enhanced, and somehow, magically, it becomes HD.
Can you enhance it?
Can you enhance it?
Can we enhance this?
Can you enhance it?
Hold on a second, I'll enhance. Zoom in on the door. times 10.
Zoom.
Move in more.
I know many people get annoyed with such an unrealistic portrayal of technology, but now, this kind of image enhancing is now possible thanks to neural networks. Google Brain researchers have trained a deep learning neural network to take very low resolution images of faces and predict what those faces would most likely look like. They call the method Pixel Recursive Super Resolution, and it enhances the resolution of photos dramatically. In the image below, you can see the original 8x8 photos, and in the middle, you can see the guess from the system. Obviously it's not perfect, and I don't think it can be, but it's pretty unbelievable that this neural network can guesstimate so well the features of the person within a photo. Number 3. Generating new images. Pix2Pix is a deep learning neural network that generates new images based on input. This neural network was trained to perform multiple but specific tasks. Either create real street scenes from colored shapes, or create a drawn map from an aerial photo, or turn day scenes into night, and finally, make a photorealistic image just from an outline. I think the last example is actually pretty cool. The Pix2Pix system uses two neural networks arranged in such a way that one network generates images, and the other network is the judge of if these images are real or not. These two networks try and fool each other and improve each other in the process. This setup is known as a generative adversarial network. If you want to try out some of this stuff, there's a simple web app created for you to have a play with the edge outline part of this neural network. Links will be below. Number 2. Lip reading. LipNet is a neural network developed by Oxford University and Google DeepMind scientists. This network can watch a silent video of a person talking and convert the mouth movements directly to text. LipNet has reached 95% accuracy in reading people's lips. An average lip reader has an accuracy of about 50 or 60%. So that's not bad at all for LipNet. Number 1. Creating a scene from scratch. A team of computer scientists from institutions such as the University of Wyoming and Uber's AI department have created what they're calling plug-and-play generative networks. This system is able to generate photorealistic images from a selection of 1,000 categories. I guess it's early days for this stuff and some of them do look a little weird, but it's still cool to see the network try and figure out how to create a scene from scratch. Here's a video of the neural network running. The goal is to generate the image that's written in text below, and each frame you see in this video is a different iterative step of trying to get there. It actually kind of looks beautiful to look at. So that pretty much rounds out the video. What application did you like best? If you know of any other cool uses of deep neural networks, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. Anyway, thanks for watching. This has been Dagogo. You've been watching Cold Fusion. Feel free to subscribe if you've just stumbled across this channel, and I'll catch you again soon for the next video. Cheers guys, have a good one.
Cold Fusion. It's new thinking.